Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is your home for organic Bible study. It's fresh and delicious, and we like to call this the Bible Bistro. Come on in here. Sit down. The Bible Bistro is open. We've got some fresh spring goodies for you. Some dainties, as we like to say here at Daily Dose Radio, a good Bible word. So we've got some dainties today in verses 4, 5, and 6 in Psalm 48. Let me just read those verses for you. For lo, the kings were assembled, they passed by together. They saw it, and so they marveled. They were troubled and hasted away. Fear took hold upon them there, and pain as of a woman in travail. Now, we said yesterday that there are some important doctrinal issues that are being expressed in the psalm. The city of Jerusalem is a rubric. It's a model for us to remember certain things. And one of the things that we're to remember is that the praise of God is an important piece of our daily devotion. We are to praise Him. I said yesterday, imagine if you were working in the city and you heard the sons of Korah singing this, "Great is the Lord, and greatly to be praised in the city of our God." We're working, we're thinking, we're applying this to our everyday life, and that praise is the thing that fills the hallways and byways of our life. Now we look at verses 4 and 5, and now it's not praise, but it's fear or reverence. Lo, the kings were assembled together, they passed by together. They saw it, and so they marveled. They were troubled and hasted away. Fear took a hold upon them there, and pain as of a woman in travail. For those on the inside, those who are a part of the community of faith, praise fills that space. On the outside, though, there's fear, because God will judge on the outside of the city. Just as Christ went to the outside of the city, outside of the gates, it was prophesied that He would go. He did. He was crucified there, and the judgment of God fell on Him for every man, woman, boy, and girl. So He bore in His body on the tree our corruption. And there is fear. There, when we see the judgment of God, we should be afraid. And so the kings passed by, and what is it they saw? They saw the judgment of God. I think this refers to the cross in a sense, because they passed by, it says. And this language is so reminiscent, isn't it, of the end of the Gospels. They passed by together. And what did they see? Well, whatever it was that they saw troubled them, marveled them. They ran from it. They were in pain because of it. And so fear filled their hearts because of God's great judgment there on the cross. And so yet still this particular doctrine comes to us that outside of the city of God, there is His judgment expressed. And of course, one day that judgment will be fulfilled when all of mankind will stand before Him at the great white throne. He is going to judge all those who are not written in the book of life. So inside there's praise because the name is written in the book of life. Outside there's fear and anticipation of the great judgment of God that will fall upon humans. It once fell upon Christ, once for all. But what about the future? What about those who rejected Him? Well, now there's fear there. So this concept of fear is very important. This is doctrine that's being expressed. While on the inside there's mercy, there's refuge, there's joy, there's light in the city. Because of the presence of God on the outside, these kings pass by, and they represent all the nobility of men. They represent all the greatness and the intelligence and the marvel of men, and yet they pass by on the outside of the city, and they're trembling. They're struck with the pain of all that they see because the work of God is evident. We'll hope you'll join me again tomorrow. We're going to look at verses 7 and 8 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.